Coming up next on the Home Shopping Network, Catan takes to the seas in this Seafarers of Catan expansion. You won't want to miss it. Tingles with flyby. Daily ASMR videos. Hello and welcome to the Home Shopping Network, beaming to you straight here from the heart of Tingledom. Back by popular demand, we have another Catan game. This is one of the expansions of the popular Settlers of Catan. Here we have Seafarers. You can see it, the Catan expansion. This takes you away from the original settlement islands to go off and explore brand new islands. It is a very fun addition to an already wonderful game. Here we can see on the front of the box this beautiful scene of the settlers arriving on a new island, but also off in the distance other potential islands, and who knows what wonders they might possess. Of course, to reach these islands, you'll need ships. So in this expansion, the tagline of which is sail, discover, settle, there are a variety of items that come in the box. It's important that you understand that this is not a sequel. You do need the original game in order to play Seafarers. So, for those of you who have not purchased the original Settlers of Catan, we do provide it in a special tonight, these two as a set, or you can get the Seafarers on its own. The first thing you're greeted with when opening the box for this game is your game rules and scenarios book. This is very important for this version of the game. We have the components, which we will go through at a certain point, but I want to show you other parts of the game. We'll discuss the rules with the pieces that come out, but what I want to show you that's different from the original game is this scenarios section. And we can see from the words of the book itself, unlike Catan, when you play Seafarers, you don't have to set up the board using the same basic shape every time. Instead, you can choose from any of these scenarios. Each scenario offers a unique blend of challenges and opportunities for you to explore. Each scenario is presented in this format. You have the name of the scenario, the components, the preparation, any additional rules, and variable setup. Of course, a diagram. I'll give you an example to show. So this first one is heading for new shores, and it has a 3 and 4 player setup. So you can see we have something reminiscent of the original island on Settlers of Catan, and then we have these additional islands. You can get additional points for being the first person to build a settlement on a new island. So they can be a lot of fun for exploration. So this will show you how to lay it out, what pieces you should place where, any additional rules, and how you can set it up in various ways. You can see for 4 players, the main island is a bit larger. Then we have the 4 islands. Here we don't really have a main island setup. You simply have 4 smaller islands, which present its own type of unique challenges and possibilities. Now this is one of my favorite types personally. When I play, this allows true discovery. For these Fog Island type setups, when you set up the board, you place some of the tiles for this middle island face down, and you assign them randomly. That way, when you first place your settlements, they must be placed on one of the face-up islands. And then, as a ship is built on the line towards one of these hexes, it gets revealed what that piece is. So you really have no idea what might be coming. There's a bit more luck involved, but it makes it very fun and very exciting. It can be different every single time. This is a 4-person setup. Here we have Through the Desert. Here we're making use of extra desert pieces. And of course you have the islands as well. These really add a fun element into the games. The Forgotten Tribe. Now here introduces a new type, not that one, sorry, this one, which we'll discuss, which is the Gold Fields. Discuss when we look through the elements. Now these scenarios are just the beginning. When you arrive, if you've gone through all these scenarios, after that you can begin to mix and match and play around yourself. Create your own boards. You'll find what you like. The very And we have the Pirate Island. And the wonders of Catan. All sorts of different setups. You can really delve into these different scenarios. And here you can see just the blueprint for your very own world. So now let us look back at the additional elements and components that we have in this expansion. Oh, this is gotten a little bit loose. We'll see that we have 6 frame pieces. Because this was not on your original building cost card, it also includes instructions on how much a ship costs. We have 2 of this shape, 2 of this shape, and 2 of this shape. And these form the exterior of your board. Obviously we have a lot more sea around, so that allows a fair bit of expansion. Now for these expanded boards, we also need more hexes. These are your terrain hexes. A bit out of order. So we have 2 additional desert hexes. And you have 2 Coldfield hexes. These hexes are very desirable, and once you understand, they will be quite sought after. If you build a settlement on one of these, when the number is rolled, you have the option to get 1 resource of any of your choice. If you have a city, then you get 2 of any of your choice. They are quite valuable. We also have an additional fields hex, an additional forest hex. Again, that beautiful art style that we come to know and love from Catan. We have a gorgeous pasture hex. Get 2 additional mountain hexes for getting your ore, and 2 hills hex. These are quite dug up. You can get a lot of clay and bricks out of these. Now, we also, of course, have additional numbers. You'll note that these are different from the originals in that they lack any letter up at the top, and that is just due to the extremely variable nature of all of these setups. The scenarios will tell you when you should have particular numbers at particular locations, and when you should place them randomly. But as always, you should never have too So there are 10 additional numbers. Now we also have 10 Harbour tokens, which can be placed throughout your different islands at random, or they can be placed specifically for a particular setup. In here, we also have a new element, which is our pirate ship. In the original Catan, we have our robber. When we roll a 7, that can be moved and you can steal resources. Well, because we now have ocean tiles as well, you can also move this pirate. If it's put on there, then nobody can build around this tile. If somebody has a ship around this tile, then you may steal from them. This can be advantageous if you have the robber in a location that you're quite happy with. Then you can move the pirate instead and keep the robber in the same place. So that is one element. We have all of those wonderful pieces. The expansion just really opens up your possibilities, and you can let your creativity really come through. Now we also, of course, because we do have ships going from island to island to island, you have additional ships to go along with your roads and your settlements and your cities. We recommend, once you've purchased these, just to store them in with your original Catan game so that all the colors can stay together. Then we have 50 of these Catan chits. They are each worth 1 point, or can be used for other items depending on your scenario. But at their most basic, they are a way to represent when you place a settlement on a brand new island, you place an extra Catan chit underneath to indicate that that settlement is worth 2 points rather than the standard 1 point. And that is all of the elements. You can see we have a case under here, but there's nothing else in the box. It's primarily about helping you build those bigger boards so that you can play with all those fun and different scenarios that are available, which is why it's so important in this Seafarers version to make sure you hold on to your game rules and scenarios. Again, this is a wonderful game for the whole family. This is for 3 to 4 players, and it's wonderful for 3 players, which can be very rare with board games. It's an absolute delight. And it really just expands on the fun that you can have with the original Settlers of Catan. So take the opportunity that you have. You can get these two together or expand your already existing Catan collection by adding on the Seafarers of